Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Longley's Line Podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Longley. Remember to like, follow, subscribe on all of our social medias. Stephen Longley for me, Longley's Line for the show, Lightstyle Studio for the studio here. Today, as you all know, I have very special guests come on, and today is no different. I have Shannon Holdridge. Shannon.
Hello.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Before we do get started on talking about anything, go ahead and promote all your social medias, wherever you want people to find you, anything you're promoting, anything like that.
Okay, I guess it would just be Instagram. So I am Shannon Holdridge. Easy.
There you go.
Easy enough, yeah.
Quick and to the point.
Quick and to the point, yeah.
So before, the one thing I like to ask first is, where are you from originally?
So originally I grew up in Tulare, California.
Tulare.
Which is a very small farming town. Not a lot there.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot there. But that's where I first discovered acting, and Mom would drive me to LA for auditions and did theater there and whatnot. But yeah, super small town, and I grew up there for quite a few years and then ended up moving to Reno in middle school.
Is Tulare like Central California?
Yeah, it's kind of, I guess, like everybody knows Fresno, so it's, I guess that would be like the big city.
Do you know Los Baños, California?
I do not.
That's where I'm from.
Okay.
Which is also a small central town, kind of in like the middle, where Fresno's over here, Hollister's over here, and Gilroy and everything.
Okay.
Modesto, Merced.
Yep, totally.
So I'm like right in the middle ground.
Okay.
There, so I know exactly what you're talking about. So that's where I came from, just a tiny little farming town.
Yeah, same.
That every time you drive past it, all you smell is cow farms.
Yeah.
That's all you smell as you're going through it.
Yeah, pretty much.
It smells disgusting, but I
Lots
actually
of
like
ditches.
the smell.
Yeah.
So
yeah, dirt roads and
yeah.
years later, I was like, oh, okay. Some of it's paved and a lot of it's still dirt roads in the country.
Yeah, I went back there not too long ago to my hometown, and they had a Costco, which just blew my mind because
that's a big deal.
The biggest supermarket that was there was a Kmart.
Yeah.
And that was it. They barely had anything around. It was all just tiny little mom and pops, maybe a 7-Eleven, and then just like thrift stores or something.
Thrifty. Do you remember Thrifty's? Thrifty's drugstore and Apple Annie's.
Yeah.
I think that's about it.
Right over.
It's really exciting.
It's just the little holes in the walls that people just drive right by.
Yeah, but it's beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, I appreciate it now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's like slow, you slow down, and, I can appreciate that lifestyle now.
Yeah, sometimes I think about it as like, I'd like to go and visit some more because it's just a small little town where not a lot's going on, and it reminds me a little bit of Reno because it was a bit of a melting pot there too, where, like when I was a kid, there was Hispanic kids, black kids, white kids, Asian kids, just a little bit of everything, just this tiny little town that in Spanish means the bathrooms. So
yeah,
that's where I'm from.
Awesome. Well, we weren't too far away from each other.
I know, right? Mm-hmm. So you moved up to Reno in middle school.
In middle school, and while I lived in Tulare, I guess I got some of my experience from early on from pageants also, because that was a thing that you did. Mm-hmm. That's because it's such a small town.
Yeah.
Like that's what everybody did.
My stepdaughter
and
does a lot of them,
yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
And so, that's kind of where I started singing and performing and, and then kind of started acting, after that.
Before you got into acting, when you were a kid, did you think you wanted to be an actor, or when you're a kid and you kind of think, oh, when I grow up I'm going to be XYZ? Did you have one of those thoughts?
Yeah, I think I did really early on. Like when everybody asked me what I wanted to do with my life, it was, I want to be an actor. I want to be an actress. And it's hard remembering back because I was so young, and so you're like, what did I what was I feeling or what was I drawn to during that time?
Yeah.
And that's hard to remember, but I do remember at the time knowing that. And, when I got booked for my first play, that was definitely, that will be like a forever memory
That
for
was
sure.
the nail in the coffin.
Oh,
I
yeah.
gotta
Just
keep doing this.
pure joy. Auditioned. I remember it was for the play Our Town.
Okay.
And went in and auditioned for the younger role at the time. I think I was maybe, I don't know, 7 or 8 at the time. And at this point, I had been begging my mom to take me on auditions. I had an agent in LA. I got pretty close a few times to booking some television roles at the time, and it just wasn't the time,
Sure, yeah.
But I distinctly remember that moment. She came in and, she said, they just called and you got cast for the role. And I mean, I can still feel it to this day, just pure joy. And, I just broke down in tears. I was so happy in that particular moment. And it was such an incredible experience. And I'm actually, I still keep in touch with the director to this
really?
day. Yeah.
Nice. You never know.
Well, he doesn't direct anymore.
Okay.
But he's he's an incredible person. And I think that we'll always have a special relationship. He kind of became a family friend, and it was a beautiful experience all around. And so that's really cool. I still think of him every now and then, and I should reach out to him.
Yeah. Now that you're thinking
Now
about
that
it,
we're
like,
thinking
maybe.
about him now, yeah.
So the play kind of gave you the acting bug while you're, thinking about pursuing it after that play. Did you have any kind of like inspirations or idols that you thought about where it's like, I saw this one movie and I was like, yep.
No,
that's it?
I mean, I think for me, I just experienced the joy of it.
Just
Like
being a part of
truly,
it.
just being a part of it, I really experienced the full joy in that. And I know, so many people have movies that really stand out, and that was the determining factor. Like it's something went off for them, or an actor that they've always looked up to. And of course, I watch incredible movies and see incredible work. But for me, it's just, it brings so much joy, and you have to hold on to that.
Yeah. It's fun for people
You know?
that have never done it. When you actually get to immerse yourself into a character and then you find a different part of yourself that you're kind of portraying, there's something different that not a lot of people ever really know. So trying to explain it to them doesn't make any sense, So I had the
that's
same
true.
kind of thing when I was in high school, because I never thought about being an actor. When I
Yeah.
was younger, I played football, lacrosse, wrestled, just did all the sports stuff.
Yeah.
But I was in media productions when I was in high school. So, where they did the local news, and I was one of the 3 sophomores that got to do it. So I was younger, always loved being in front of the camera. Every time buddies of mine were like, hey, we're filming a project. Can you come be a part of it? Of course I can. The camera comes on and I turn into a little
Yes,
ham or
I
something.
love
And I'm
it.
like, okay, let's do it.
I'm ready.
So a bit of that backstory was when high school's over, trying to figure out what you're doing for work and trying to find jobs and things. A buddy of mine was like, hey, we have jobs. A friend of ours is up in Montana. Let's go and move up there. Like, okay, 22 at the time. Let's go. So we move up there, make a whole big trip out of it, go see family in Elko, Idaho, make our way up there. When we get up there, the guy gave away the jobs that he had for us. And so we were homeless for 2 days.
Oh, no, that's exciting.
So it was me,
But that's
2
an
guys,
adventure.
2 dogs, in a tiny little Suzuki.
Did you just huddle up?
Filled with all of our crap. It was like, get over here, I'm cold.
Come closer.
It was January, so yes, it was cold.
That's an experience and a memory you'll have forever.
Yeah, I remember
right?
it this entire time. And when we go, our tax returns hit, and we're like, you know what, we're just going back home. Let's go home. And by the time I come back, I'm like, what do I want to do? Mm-hmm. And then I thought about that. It was like, whenever the camera's on, I love being in front of the camera. I like having fun. I like, portraying things, making people feel emotions, whatever, funny, sad, whatever it might be. And it was like, let's give it a shot. So that's kind of what propelled me into doing more of the acting thing. And so, like, back to yours, after the play goes on, what did you do next? Did you keep with the theater program in high school? Did you go out afterwards? Like, what was kind of your process
so we moved around quite a bit when I was a kid, and eventually landed here. And when we moved here, the TV film all got put on hold. And I just did, theater work here through high school, which was so much fun. I mean, I just got to play and have a good time. And and then after that, I kind of took a little break, an extended break. And I think at the time, because I've thought a lot about this because I'm in such a different place now, I think at the time, I didn't really see myself in Los Angeles.
Sure.
And, I'm a small town girl. I'm a small town girl. And I'm like, I don't know. I couldn't see going there and pursuing acting and living in Los Angeles. It just seemed like, I don't know, just so much
like a different world to go to that just
yeah,
didn't feel
and I
right.
didn't know if I wanted it. Like I didn't know if it would be real or authentic. Like I didn't know, you kind of have an idea, I guess, of what it is and what
like
the
a
people are
fantasy about
like.
it.
Kind of, and I just couldn't see myself there at the time. And so I took a long break from acting. I got my master's degree in education.
Oh, there you go.
And I was working really hard at the time. I worked a full-time job and lived on my own and
Just
put
teaching,
myself through school. No, not teaching at the time. I worked different jobs, but office jobs, medical billing I did at the time. And then at a certain point I transitioned and, did waitressing and bartending and to get myself through the end of school. But that's really where my focus was and where I wanted to be at the time. And so that's what I do, to make a living right now. I'm still a teacher and I enjoy it. It grounds me and the kids are amazing. And I'm really grateful for what it's providing me.
Yeah.
And it's still serving me right now.
Sure, yeah. We need teachers.
Yeah, it's all good things. But there was a shift later on that happened. And so, yeah, I mean, here I am today.
Yeah. And to go back just a little bit to more of before you kind of take your little hiatus, did you have any stories that kind of come to mind from when you were in plays that kind of stood out to you, like maybe, as you're walking out, the curtain falls on you? Or so, do you have any kind of stories in mind from funny things like that?
Like when I was a kid?
Yeah.
God, I remember, I remember passing out one time. That was crazy. I woke up with a bunch of people standing around me and I think an ambulance was called. I don't know what happened there. Funny stories, I guess, when I did Aunt Jeannie, with Mad Wife, we put a hole in the wall. I mean, I guess, we were really into character.
Yeah. You have to be.
That's kind of funny. And during one of the films, I flew down the stairs, slipped and fell. So I guess I'm a bit accident prone. I don't know. I think.
So going from
don't
acting.
Worry about booking me still, everybody.
Now you're just going to double as a stunt woman.
That's
also,
it.
Right?
I do it all.
Just put it all on the resume there.
Yeah. Well, just fling me down wherever, stairs. I'm good. I'm your girl.
I'll be fine. I can be my own stunt double, so don't worry.
Don't even. Yep. I've got it all.
So what was the transition? While you're teaching and everything, you said there was kind of a switch that flipped.
Yeah.
Was it while you were teaching? Maybe it's something you saw, like plays going on, or kind of what was the transition?
No, I think that there were a couple different awakenings in my life that happened all at the same time. And at that particular moment, I just missed doing it. Mm-hmm. I just missed acting. It's part of me that I've always had. It's a part of me. I've done it since the time I was little. And so that's where it started. I want to just do this again for pure enjoyment of doing it. And I reached out to Justine at True at the time and just said, I want to take classes and get good again. I just want to enjoy it. And, from there, it, turned into just, getting some headshots and kind of doing some local work. Yeah. Which was and is so much fun every time I get to do that. And so grateful to her and the studio. And then, from there, another agency did some auditions, and so I thought, I'm going to audition and just, see what happens, and didn't hear anything for a few months, and then, they reached out and signed me, and I've been with them also, which has been wonderful.
Is it a local one or over the hill?
It's I get work in the Bay Area mostly. Mm-hmm. So there are next steps and plans, of course. Yeah. Goals. But I'm so grateful just to. I guess I'm a couple years back in and just be where I'm at right now, and it feels really good just to be doing it and enjoying it.
Yeah, now that you're back into it. Yeah. I've done that too, where you take those little breaks in between and then you're like, you know what, I need to get back into it. And you feel like you're excited to get back into it, but then it's also, I feel rusty.
Yeah, you have to stay sharp.
Come on,
And that's why I love the class that I'm in, because, when I'm booking work, you always want to be booking work, of course, like that's the goal. And then on the off time or downtime, every week I'm working. Yeah. And working with different people and, just learning and growing and staying sharp and getting better.
Yeah. You got to keep working those muscles.
That's right.
So like the same thing, kind of what you were talking about, getting back into it. When I first got started myself, the same thing sort of happened where I didn't know where to go at first. And a buddy of mine, because I used to a lot of the times go out line dancing, so met a lot of friends that way, met my wife that way, like met a bunch of different people that way. And one of the guys that I was friends with is a photographer. And he was like, you know what, there's not a lot of males that get in front of the camera. You should try doing that since you like being in front of the camera. And I was like, me, a model? What do you, no, I don't do that, but you put a camera in front of me, I'll pose, whatever. So then he sent me to Jeremy Liu, who Jeremy and I have become good friends since then. And he took some headshots for me, and it's kind of catapulted that. And I always get, every now and again, I'll have somebody reach out like, hey, so-and-so said, I'm trying to get into the modeling industry. They said to reach out to you. I was like, to me? Yeah. I mean, okay, I'll help you in any ways I can, but I'll just be working one day and I'll get a message who's like, oh, Kathleen sent me over here because I want to get into modeling. What do you think I should do? And I give them the same kind of rundown. Reach out to people, stay active. This industry, you have to have thick skin because you're going to get a lot of no's. And for the 1,000 things you go out for, you'll maybe get one, if that.
Yep. And the things I feel like the things that are meant for us really, that's been kind of like, I guess one of the things that I feel like freed from, is that when you get the no's and then the yeses do come, a lot of times those roles feel really right,
Yeah.
And I do think that the right things come at the right time for us.
Because especially, too, there could be those roles that you go out for where you crush the audition.
Yeah.
Everybody there is into it.
Yep.
I had one where I did the same thing, where I would go over the hill and I would be for SF or SAC casting. And I went over the hill. I'm reading. There's 4 or 5 people in the room. Reading the script, the guy's reading with me, and once we do 2 or 3 different ones, she goes, okay, kind of improvise a little bit, see what happens. I'm like, okay. We're reading the script. Everybody starts laughing. Like the guy I'm reading with forgets he's reading with me. Everyone's on the floor, all laughing. I'm still in character. I'm like, oh,
how great to be in that moment, having such a good time.
Yeah, I was like, this is the best. I nailed this.
Amazing.
2 days later, get an email from the director. We went a different way.
Yeah.
Sorry, we love to keep you in mind and this and that. And I was like, it sucks because you didn't get it. But I keep that same story in my mind. It was like, well, I made that happen. Yep. And if I could do it once, I can do it again.
Yep. And I think that those things really fuel me, at least, to take the next step sometimes.
Yeah.
Like through the disappointments, it's like, okay, because nobody likes that feeling. Like we all want the same thing, right? We're all doing it, and so now what? This was not meant for me, and so what can I do in order to take the next steps? What do I need to do in order to get to level up, so to speak, and get myself to that next place.
Exactly. And you think about it, too, when you go to the auditions. It was like, okay, they didn't pick me. What could I have worked on a little bit better? What maybe should I have done differently? Should I have emphasized this? Should I have made this, that, X, Y, and Z? And you think about that, and then you work on them. And after you got out of your hiatus, what was the first role that you landed? Do you remember kind of the first role that you got, or kind of one that stood out to you that you were like, okay, I'm back in it, baby. Let's do this. Let's keep it going.
Well, I think my first role that I got or that I booked was Aunt Jeannie. That was my first role. My first film role was Aunt Jeannie.
With Mad Wife
Mad
Productions.
Wife. Yeah.
Who Andrew Arguello was on the show. Go back, listen to that episode. You'll know what we're talking about.
Yes, they're super amazing.
All that stuff. So how was your time on that? Now that you've booked this role, what was your process of kind of getting back into it? Was it just more like riding a bike where you're like, I've got this? Or was it something a little
film
different?
and TV it's much different, of course, than theater.
Yeah.
And I think that I had all of the feelings that you would have your first time being back on a set, you know what I mean? And so for me, I think I was excited and, nervous, of course, that first time back, and, just really trying to take everything in at the time, just watching, like looking around, and just really trying to, just really being in the moment and feeling the joy of that. And also, there was a part of me that, of course, was a little bit nervous. I mean, this was my first time getting back in a long time.
Yeah, you're getting back on the horse.
That's it. And I had an absolute blast. Everybody was wonderful. They all the cast and crew were phenomenal, and And like I said, Greg threw me through the wall. So, that was a bonus.
Yeah. So you got that there too. And now
so now I have
stunt woman.
Now I have that experience,
Exactly.
So check.
Is that one of theirs that's on their shorts on Tubi?
Oh gosh, I should know. I'm going to say yes.
I believe so.
I believe so.
If y'all have Tubi, stop this now. Go to Tubi. You can see Aunt Jeannie and also a tree of mine right here.
Awesome.
So what was the next gig that you had? Actually, before I ask that one.
Yeah.
So with the audition process, when you're going out for things and you actually book stuff, did you have any commercials or anything that you auditioned for, got, and then it fell a little short? And I'll give my example on it because I went out for an audition for this, I think it was like a boot wear or something. It was kind of more cowboy themed, and I was like, perfect, I've got the entire attire. I was the first one of the day. I go in there. I may have told this story already, but I went in there, did my lines, but every time I did them, I kind of was talking, and then I'd go like that. And
you did.
Just kind of a little, like a little tick that I had. It was like,
cowboy, I'm a cowboy.
What I mean?
Yeah.
The only problem was that the director that was watching it was like, it looks like you're saying no. I was like, what?
What am I doing?
What do you mean? And it was like, you keep going, like, you keep shaking your head. I'm like, I don't know what you... Okay, so we did it 10 more times, and I kept trying to, like, stop my head from moving. He was like, okay, that was perfect. Great. We'll see you later. Commercial came out. I was not in the commercial. And I saw that commercial blatantly saying, I was like, all right, I'm going to be one of these parts. I was not in that commercial.
Yeah.
I was disappointed. Everything still happened and still on the resume and everything. But it was like, just one little thing. Do you have any stories kind of like that? Maybe not where you fell short, but it was something of that nature.
Not commercially. The one thing that stands out, I guess, would be I auditioned for a film, and it's still on hold, so...
Yeah, it's in the can.
It actually got put on hold.
Yeah.
So you never know. But I had gone through quite a few rounds of auditions at this point, and had traveled there and did the in-person auditions. This would have been my, I don't remember how many auditions there were, but I drove in and did a callback after a series of self-tapes, and then I went for chemistry reads. So this may have been like my 5th audition or something. I don't remember the exact number, but callbacks went great. They invited me back in for the chemistry read. It was, I don't know, maybe a week or 2 later. And I drove back in, and I'm sitting there, and, we're all sitting around the table, and I'm realizing they're coming out with the male-female, because the sides that they had given me were with a female. Well, they were pulling male-female, male-female. And I see another guy had sides, and so I go, something's off. Something's not right.
Sure. Yeah.
So I asked the guy, did they send you sides, new sides? He's like, oh my God, you didn't get the sides.
Oh, no.
No, they didn't email me the sides. So somewhere within their production missed sending me the sides. And of course, in that moment, I'm just, and I'm like, where everyone's like, everyone else there is from LA, you know what I mean? And I'm like, hey guys, I'm from Reno, so it's your property. But that actually, so I think there was a lot there. Like, first of all, when I sat down, seeing that everybody was from Los Angeles doing it, they're working actors, and I was there and not from Los Angeles, that to me was kind of a moment where I felt like, actually there may be something here.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, I think that I'm here for a reason. And maybe I think I can do this, you know. And then the side situation happened, and I'm like, oh,
Maybe not.
I better get the sides. And the guy was so kind. Oh my gosh, he's just the most kind person, and we still talk today, after. And he said, would you like my sides? And I went out. I think I had, I don't even know, maybe 2 minutes, or it was so quick to look him over. I went in and, let them know just really quickly that I had just seen the sides, and they were so gracious and such wonderful people, and I'm so grateful for that. But I kind of just got through it, and they said, like I said, so gracious, and they said, would you like a couple of minutes to go out and look at the sides and come back in? And they were so wonderful. And I think the director even said, you've got great talent. That's why you're here. And so just take a few minutes, look over the sides, come back. And I did, I pulled myself together, did the best that I could, went out. Things were obviously not perfect. And so that is my story. Went into my car, I think after the audition, was holding it all in, cried in my car for a solid hour. And then I was supposed to stay in a hotel, and I just wanted to be in my bed. I drove all the way home. I was like, I don't care how long this drive is.
It's over.
But there was something positive that came out of that. And when I did the chemistry reads, again, speaking of the rejection and how we can be so hard on ourselves sometimes, all 3 of the men that I read with were all incredibly talented people. Incredibly talented. And like, truly, it was a pleasure to read with them and be in that moment with them. And all 3 of them were completely different. Completely different when we read through. And I think that was an aha for me too, of just, they're going to start pairing people together. And then it's just, what story do they want to tell? Because everybody here at this stage is good or great, right? And they obviously see all of us in the roles. And so that was really freeing too, just realizing, we are all here, and in the right time, it will happen.
And you realize that it's not you.
Right.
It's what the director has in their mind.
That's it.
So seeing you, who they probably have, it's like, okay, this is perfect. Now we just need somebody to fit the bill with her. To keep the project moving. And I've had that same thing with going back to a commercial where I played the dad, and, I never think I'm going to get the role. I just know I'm going in, going to do my best and try and read my lines and make them want to pick me. And I did that where I went in for a role, and I read my role 6 times with 4 different kids. And the entire time, it's a different little kid doing something a little bit different. And trying to figure out what's going on. And I've just got to be the dad. And then they gave me a different set of lines. And you read it with them, and they're like, oh, that's perfect. I like that. And you realize that it's not you. It's they have to figure out to bring their own image to life.
Right.
So
who you fit well with, chemistry, obviously. And I think we all have an essence about us. We all just do.
Everybody's got a different vibe.
It's so true. We have a different energy, a different essence. I really think that has a big part to do with it too, So, anyway, that was my experience. The good, the negative and positive and everything in between,
You have a little bit of everything that comes with it.
And I love it. I mean, what an incredible experience that was.
And that was
how much did I learn from that?
it was the definition of cold reading. Like
In that case.
For those that don't know, when it comes to cold reading, you're given the script that day and you have to read those lines that day. Or whenever, like, they'll be like, okay, thank you for coming to the audition. Here's your script. And you have maybe 5 minutes to read it over, see what the scene's about, and then know, do I have to play this mad? Do I have to play this sad, disappointed, happy, go lucky, stupid? Like, you have to figure out what comes with it.
Yeah.
So when you get those sides from that guy and he's like, oh, here you go.
But with no time to break the scene down or, all of the little nuances that the characters may have and all of that kind of work.
Yeah.
So.
The fun things that come
But they were so understanding. And like I said, such gracious, wonderful people. And I just thought, I hope I get to work with these people. That's what I thought. I've been really blessed so far to work with really kind, wonderful people. And you hear all kinds of stories, it can go either way. And I think I'm just going to attract that.
Yeah.
I'm going to attract all the kind and wonderful people that want to work with me.
You want the good people to come near you, yeah. I've had that same thing, luckily, when it comes to my acting. With photography, sometimes not so much, because there have been times where I've been on like a group shoot or something, and then the only person that's getting notes is me. I'm like, I'm doing the same thing as that guy. Stop it. I'm the only one. Stop it. So, it's nice when you have those people that make you feel more comfortable while you're doing it.
Yeah. I just thought, I think maybe at some point I will work with them. I got such a great feeling from them.
Yeah. And then you never know. Because then the same thing, something could happen while they're doing it. They're like, I remember her. Let's bring her back. And then you get another chance. And then maybe this time it's like, boom.
That's it, for a different role or the different story or that one.
Yeah.
But if nothing else, again, what a beautiful experience. And I met some really amazing people through that process. And I'm grateful for that.
Beautiful. And then, so before we get you out of here on this, what is next for you? Do you have anything that you're currently working on that you are excited about? Are you currently still thinking, oh, well, I'm in the process of this? Kind of what's next for you now?
Yeah. I have one short film to wrap up, and then I will be working on a second episode on a web series, which should be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to that. Class, of course. Gotta get into the weekly routine of that, so I'll still be working. And I guess my next steps are making my own content. So I wrote my first short film, and so I'll be in the revision stages for that, and then. This week, I'm working on writing a second short, and so I'm looking forward to, making my own movies in between booking other gigs and
only be a stunt
creating
woman,
my
but
own
also a
content.
And,
just doing as much of it as I can.
Yeah, just get a little bit of everything under your belt.
Yeah, why not?
That's great. Well,
why not?
Shannon, thank you for being here once again.
Thanks for having me.
Do get you out of here, go ahead and promote your social medias where people can find you and anything you want to promote.
Gosh, I think just the Instagram. I don't know. I have a webpage if you want to check it out. It's just www.shannonholdridge.com. Easy. Otherwise, just Instagram. You can find me there.
Perfect. Easy.
Yeah, I'm
straight
Shannon
to the
Holdridge.
point. All right, well, you guys heard
Thanks
it here. Remember to follow, subscribe to us here at the page. Stephen Longley, Longley's Line, Lightstyle Studios, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Thanks for having me.